Welcome back, everybody. It is January 1st of 2025, and this is episode 73 of What is on My Desk. Here we are back for another one of my monthly work desk updates, and I don't have a whole lot to show you. There's progress on the kits, a little bit of progress on the kits, no new products, nothing else, nothing special, just a quick update on where those kits got to. First of all, right off the bat, Happy New Year to everybody. 2025 is with us, and whole new year, whole new round of air shows, and hopefully a round of new model building. There has been some new stuff announced in terms of models, just to bring you all up to speed. So what you can expect on this channel in 2025, ICM has announced a 148 scale Hadley Page Hampton, and I plan to buy one. It's going to really set off the bombers I have up there. I've also got the Wellington in the closet to build, so that'll flesh out my RCAF World War II bombers fleet. So that's coming. You can expect to see that on the channel whenever it gets released, as well as finishing up the kits I have. And I don't know what I'm building next. I have no idea. I'm running out of space back here to store built kits, so I have to be very specific on what I build and how I build it. So we'll figure all that out in the new year. Apologies also in advance. I've got a head cold, making me sound kind of funny, and it makes me cough and sneeze every so often. So apologies on that in advance. But on that note, let's get swung to the desk. You can see the updates of those 4 kits. The few I have, I've been spending a lot of time playing Flight Sim. You might be able to make out the setup back here I use for Flight Sim. It's been fun, but a lot of my time has been sunk into that. I haven't spent as much time at the desk as I should have. So let's get swung over. We'll show you the updates, move on with this video, and as always, my name is Sean, and this is Sean's Aviation. So here we are at the desk, taking a quick look at the kits. As I mentioned, not as much time here at the desk due to Flight Sim. I'm also on a bit of a time crunch today, trying to get this video done. It's actually the 31st right now, and I've got a few things I got to take care of today and whatnot, so I'm a bit of a rush today to get this squeezed into my busy day. I should not have waited so long, but work, holidays, fun. So anyways, we'll start off with the F-14. And I don't quite remember where I got to with the last cover, and the last video, I should say, what I covered, and I don't really have the time to go back and watch it, so might repeat a few things from the last one. But this, as you see it, is basically how the kit is going to be finished. I'm going to have the left wing swept, the right wing straight, and then mounted on a stand as part of that prototype asymmetric flight test. So very little of this is glued together. The wings, I can't remember, like I said, if I showed these before, but both wings are glued together. And I have the slats done on this. I'm going to do some painting on these wings before I assemble everything. Basically because of the way it's going to be tucked up underneath the fuselage. I want to get these things painted white and gray and red and get them done, and then I can glue them in place, and then I can mask them off when I paint the rest of the airframe. And as well, with the wings moving, you get a slightly different weathering pattern between the two of them, so I'm going to do some of that. I also want to do a little bit of the, if I can find the hinge point here, I want to do a little bit of the weathering on the wing, the way it would move. You'd get a little bit of streaking on the wing, so I want to do some of that. I might use a sponge, put some black wash down, and just give it a quick little, wipe, just to try to get that little swing look. This one's not so big because it's going to be back, but with this one being out, you'll see some of that marking. So I'm going to try to do some weathering on that. Then I'll get these wings glued together, and then I can do everything else. Also, gear doors are glued in, and I've got some putty down. The masking tape is me trying to save some of the raised panel line details. That way, when I sand this down, I'm not going to sand off some of the details. Some of them I'll lose. I'm okay with that. I'm trying to save some of them so at least it looks a little good when it's done. I realize I'm missing the door here. It's on the gear itself. I'll glue that in after. I wanted to get as much of this cleaned up. There's some massive gaps. I don't know how well you can see it, but there's some really big gaps in here. I've used a bit of super glue, and I've used some styrene backing plates to try to hold everything together. So I'm not too worried about this piece until I know all of that is going to be good and looks okay, and then I can quickly glue that in and do another round of puttying. So that's the status of that. I want to get the worst of this cleaned up before I assemble everything. That being said as well, the cockpit is glued in. I've got both pilots in there. They are painted up with orange flight suits the way test pilots would be. And the cockpit itself is actually glued in with some super glue and baking soda because the fit isn't the greatest. This is a monogram kit and some of the seam lines are atrocious. And I'm really not looking forward to cleaning up, especially some of these side seams here. I've got to sand off the copyright date down there. This one here is really bad. There's even a warp in the fuselage where when you line up the back half, the front half doesn't actually line up. So I'm really going to have to kind of like play with it and get it to, you can see how much of you got to really like give it a bend to get it all to lock up. So I'm really going to have to work my way through bit by bit and get all of this cleaned up. There's flash galore I haven't cleaned up yet. All of these side panels, this side panel. There's still a lot of work, but I'm just one little bite at a time. So that's where I am with that. The next little while is going to be nothing but puttying and sanding. Cleaning these up, getting the apologies for the cold, getting the intake trunking installed, getting all of that cleaned up. I'm going to probably, I won't really be able to use the white paint technique because of the nature of these, so I'm going to have to figure that out. Excuse me. Once I get it glued together, I'm going to have to go through and finish off all the other seams, putty sand, putty sand, putty sand. This is why I want to get the wings painted before I assemble it so that they're done and I can just focus on the fuselage after. So a lot of work still to go on that one, but it's coming along. The A6 looks like an A6, but it's all taped and just clamped together. The main reason for this is going to require nose weight. I know for a fact this will require nose weight. I just don't know how much. So my plan is to get it kind of clamped together like this, tape on the wings, we'll tape the fuselage together, tape the tails on, get the landing gear in place, and then I can play with some weight, see how much I need in the nose to get it to sit on the nose wheel, glue a bunch of weight into the nose before I glue it together. And then worst comes to worst, I will have, there's a belly tank I'm using, and I can try to jam some weight into that if I'm still off, but I'll deal with that later. Worst case, I can drill a hole and glue in some ballast weight that way. I've done that before. I don't like doing it, but I've done it before and I can do it again if I have to. So that's where we are with this. Cockpit is all assembled. The next steps on this, like I said, are going to be taping it together, getting the nose weight figured out, and then I can start gluing the fuselage together and cleaning up those seams and all that fun stuff. So it's coming along. I got to paint a lot of this stuff. This one and that F14 will have the same basic overall paint scheme. So that's going to be nice working together and getting the paint done so I can work at the same time, which is kind of why I build things like this. I pick stuff that has similar paint schemes so that it limits the amount of airbrush cycles I have to do in time. The F5 is kind of the farthest behind. I'm still working on the nose section. I just glued this together. Actually, these wings I said were taped. The wings are glued. The wings are glued together already. The tape is holding it together. I still have to do a lot of cleanup on the seams. But those wings are glued together, and this nose section is glued together. I still got to clean up back here. But this aircraft is built in minor sub-assemblies. So I've started to assemble things. Like I've still got to get the nose cone on. And then I'll go through and clean up some of these edges and seams on this and then continue on. So we're moving along on that. Literally, this is all I have. I've been focusing on the F14 and the A6. Whoops. I can probably take those off. It's been clamped for a couple of hours now. Yeah. That's all I have on the F5. This also is designed. I've designed it so I can slide that in. I say that and now I can't get it in. There we go. After the fact, so I can mask the canopy, paint it, and then after the fact, I can glue this in right at the very end, glue the canopy on, and then I have an open canopy, and I don't have this nonsense trying to mask while I'm finishing the kit. So that's why that's like that. And then the refueling probe sits here. That's going to need a little bit of Mr. Surfacer, I believe, around it just to get it to line up. But there's the refueling probe. So it's coming along. I'm very happy with this. I think it's going to look really cool in the aggressor scheme. But yeah, that's pretty much it. As I said, I'm keeping this short and sweet. I am pushing the clock to get this done before I have to leave the house. And I want to make sure this is uploaded, ready to go, so that it is released on the 1st, as I usually do it. So that's about it. The next little while, I'm hoping to get some more work done on these over the next couple of weeks. I'm still playing Flight Sim a lot, but I'm also getting back into kits. I've also like neglected my website and all that other stuff. So I definitely need to get away from Flight Sim for a bit and focus on the rest of my life. But we'll see. So January, hopefully get some more stuff done. And yeah, we're plugging right along. So I'm going to wrap it up here. And we will see you all next time.